Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Alicia here at Cosmic Gateway. This is the March 2025 energy update and intuitive insight guidance. First off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who sent loving comments and messages and emails and support. February was a very intense month for me, a lot of grief, a lot of letting go. It certainly was a watery energy, a lot of emotion coming up to the surface, and I'm just so grateful for the amount of love that I received going through that time. So, back on deck, March. It's certainly packing a powerful punch. I'm a couple of days late recording this because I was feeling into the energetics of it and being guided to what I can do to support myself and what is it that the collective would need. And I was preparing to record this, and as I did, tuning into that energies, I got completely taken out for an entire day where I had to rest. So, a lot of very powerful energetic changes happening on a very deep physical cellular level at the moment. So you may be feeling this, you may be getting a sense of it. Um, we are in unprecedented times. So I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot culminating, it feels like, in March. So of course we've got sort of astrological themes if you feel into that. I do think that there is an influence as we've stepped into the beginning of March. Obviously, we have the Venus retrograde. So, just from a dream space vantage point, obviously the highlight around relationships and connections, loved ones, romantic connections, past, present, and potentially future for some, will come into highlighted energy form. So you may be finding that throughout your dream space, you're going through and reconciling a lot of undealt with, suppressed, subconscious aspects of integration in terms of your own soul's journey. In regards to relationships, I have noticed that theme playing out, and dream space has felt like a lot of very intense clearing of past or outdated timelines or fractals or versions of ourselves that is simultaneously playing out. But it feels like as we move through this month, there is this new level of light body activation in prep in preparation or already underway. Now, I think I may have mentioned throughout January there was this like buzzing sensation that was sort of at the leg level. There was like this rippling feeling or really uncomfortable sensation throughout January of like this vibration almost moving up from the feet, going up through the legs. As we got to February, it was like there was a temporary pause and then it continued to ripple. And now it feels like it's here, but it hasn't fully culminated up into the higher aspect, into the head. And I feel like that's kind of the trajectory of where things are heading on an energetic landscape, what's happening within the body itself. So I keep getting this message about the activation of the new light body. It's about a transference of consciousness, and it's the Illuminous light body that is being activated for some. I don't feel like everyone will be going through it this month, but I do believe that it is within access range of those who choose to tune into that. And so, to give you a visual representation, it's almost like there is a consolidated energy that sits within the core. So it sits somewhere between the sacral and solar plexus, at least for me. And it feels like this energy, it's almost like a fire or burning energy that's kind of building and trying to expand outward. Now, I've been shown this in various different ways, but it's an infusion or an extension of our physical body and the changes and shifts that we'll go through. So it's like there's a new energetic template that has been embedded within us. It's our sacred code, if you will, our soul signature. And I don't believe that we have had full access to this just yet. I think we maybe at times, but what I've been shown is it's a culmination or condensed version of all our fractals multidimensionally. And as we progress throughout this month of March, this is going to then expand. So it's like the outer layer of the grid system, the energetic grid system, the bandwidth that we've been operating from, um, is slowly dismantling. And this is connected. There's a symbiotic relationship connected to the outer world as our inner world. So I think what we're witnessing now is a full deconstruction of the matrix, or the false layer of this version of reality that we've been existing in or participating in. And so many of us have been going through this phase of unplugging or dismantling. This has been ongoing for a number of years, but it feels like it's just cranked up a notch and intensified. So it's every time I tune into my energetic system, I'm constantly releasing a lot of cords, a lot of implants, a lot of plugins, things that I haven't, it's going to a deeper level or a deeper layer that I haven't yet been able to access. So this is actually incredibly exciting because I feel like once we've fully lit that, it feels like it's a spark, an illumination. There's a lot of gold energy that's connected to it. And I feel like this template I started to feel into um, about 7, 8, even 9 months ago, that was sort of culminating in that midway section. And it's just kind of slowly been percolating. And I feel like for those who feel like they've been sort of taken out of the game for a period of time and they've kind of been in this slow-mo stage, or not much happening, not a lot of connection, not a lot of inspiration or insight, or the path doesn't feel very clear. It's kind of been in this foggy haze. I feel like this is the critical aspect of what many of us have been in preparation for. So that feels like at large really coming to light and coming to life, which is going to significantly change a couple of aspects. First of all, I feel like it's going to change a lot in our physical body. So our physical body going through a metamorphosis of coming into new abilities, new sensitivities. I'm already witnessing this, and we're at day 3 of March so far. So just to give you some examples of things that I've noticed, I was on a phone call yesterday and I was speaking to my mum, and I could smell the ointment that she just used to put on her body, um, very potently. So just one example, so a heightened sense of smell, even taste. Um, Funny little exit here. I woke up from an afternoon nap one afternoon feeling quite dazed and disoriented, but I had a very distinct taste in my mouth of something that I don't often eat. And it sort of sparked a craving for that. And I was like, oh, where's that coming from? Only to find out later that that's what my neighbors were eating. Now, I've had 2 incidences of this just in the last couple of days. So I think it's just being incredibly aware of the level of sensitivity as we go through these type of activations, that sometimes we can be tapping into different things, and just to have the awarenesses of them. And this is, I guess, really coming back into the unified field of the unity consciousness. We are connected and interconnected into everything. And so even though that brings on certain gifts and abilities, it also has its downfall where we can sort of morph in and out of other people's energy fields if we're not conscious of our own energetic boundaries, if you will. So that's something to just keep in mind. What else can I share? So I'm being guided. I haven't yet got all the details fully up and ready, but keep an eye over the next coming days. So I have been guided to present. Initially, it was going to be 2 soul journeys for March. One in terms of deep purification, cleansing, and almost instructional of how to work on clearing out the old template that is surrounding almost like a um, an etheric uh, grid system or network, the old that's dismantling and how to work with actively clearing that. Um, and whatever may be surfacing to be seen that has been hidden or been really in the depths of. And then ultimately, what this is working to is to be able to access your own internal new Illuminous light body that's being prepared to switch on and come online, and how to navigate and work with that. So, as you may be aware, we're going into an eclipse season this month, um, the 14th of March and the 29th or 28th, 29th. So, I've been guided to hold almost like an eclipse container over that period. And so it will be basically going through the clearing and then daily support for that group. And then obviously coming into the activation of the light body, which I do believe is going to give us a greater level of access into the new earth reality through our consciousness and even through our daily experiences. So I'm super excited to host that. I'm still toying with the details because I realize that in between those 2 points, we're also going to go through the equinox. So it may extend to three, or it might just be an in-between check-in over that 2 week intensive period. So keep an eye out for all the details that will be. I had to put all the groups on hold as going throughout February. Everything in my life got tipped upside down, and going through yet another very intense initiation phase. So I'm just still finding my way, but I do intend to have all of that back up and running. What else can I share about the current energies that we're moving through? It feels like I know that there was a very intense period, and it feels like it's still ongoing, and it's being highlighted, especially in dream space, of a lot of dark, hidden agendas, truth, trafficking, child abuse, um, things of that nature really coming to light. I feel like this is pinging very, very extensively throughout the collective field, but it's also rippling into people's individuated experiences. So, people who may have had some level of trauma, I think we all have some level of childhood trauma that maybe hasn't been fully reconciled, coming up for evaluation, to be seen, to be healed, to be loved ultimately. So, and I've been going through a lot of mission dreams where there's been a lot of intense traveling from location to locations, a lot of grid point energy work and activation, um, and being aware or bearing witness to a lot of corruption being cleaned up. This feels like a full blown operation of cleanup that is happening in real time as we speak. And even though we may not be directly involved in that, through our multidimensional awareness, I think we can pick up on there is a lot of cleanup that is in progress right now. Ah, now I have to say it because every time I lean into to March, I keep getting this image of a mushroom cloud, a gray mushroom cloud, kind of an explosion. I think it's more symbolic than literal, but there's a lot of explosiveness. There's a lot of fire energy. There's a lot of friction energy. And it feels like through the friction and the craziness and the chaos, that is the most optimum time to alchemize and work within our own process so we can really shift facets of our own reality into like a much clear, concise, open space. I had several dreams about divine connections or counterpart connections or two powerful souls coming together, creating the friction, creating gold. So I think no matter what the circumstances are in your own reality or physical reality, if you are on a path or a journey of connection in a counterpart soul connection, there is this level of friction, and not necessarily in a negative way, but burning through dross, or being able to kind of move and clear lots of level. Yeah, I'm getting like chills as I say that. A lot of levels of templates that are interlinked into collective themes, clearing out through your personal connection. It's almost expelling a lot of gold frequency to come into our own Illuminous light body that's being prepared to come online, but also how that then creates that more solidity in the new earth grids, that golden frequency grid that has been available and coming online as far as I can go back. I think one of my first experiences of that was at the beginning of 2022 or 2023. The etheric template was really being constructed. And now it feels like we're at a very physical level with that and starting to bring that into into reality itself. Okay, just having a look at my notes. Look at okay. So, as a part of the dismantling of our old identity, if you will, the old energetic system that has contained us, a lot of deprogramming that's occurring within that. So, we're being asked to really reevaluate our thoughts, our constructs, our mental programming, and really dig deep in that to be able to remove false versions or false identities of self. So there can be a little bit of an identity crisis that's happening of like, who am I really? What is, what is my path? What is my mission? Because I feel like there's a shift in the trajectory of that. And I've been feeling that coming incrementally since sort of mid of last year, that there's like mm, a recall to action and purpose in unexpected ways. So you may feel it coming, you may have felt it coming for quite some time, but it feels like as we move, and that's what I was shown going back in around mid December of last year. I was actually shown on the timeline that the end of March would be the catalyst to move into a new space, new mission, new purpose, or having a lot of clarity around that and getting ready for it to action. And so, what has been happening in the meantime is a lot of collecting information and data through dream space, through our multidimensional capacity, so that we can co- consolidate and solidify and have a better streamlined focus as to what that actually looks like and what we're moving into. It feels like a huge wrap up phase and also a collection of data and information so that we can ultimately have clarity and open those new, or could be a new pathway, it could be many, depending on your individual circumstance. So right now there's a lot of physical I was going to say the word challenges, but I guess it can be challenging. You know, the physical body is morphing in such profound ways. So there can be extreme pressure being pushed on the body, like a squeeze or a pressure cooker happening as we're sort of coming into this um, new elevated state. I feel like for some, there's a deep level of karmic influences at play. Soul reconciliation is a word that comes to mind. If we have still aspects, energy ties into old realities, whether that be in this lifetime or others, that's kind of being wrapped up and dealt with in a very kind of rapid and sometimes very extreme circumstances and ways so that we can come into this refinement and version of self. Um, so things may seem like they take sort of an unexpected twist or turn, but it's actually kind of, it is a fast track version, whether that's perceived initially or not. That's actually what's occurring. And what was coming through to me, I've been in a lot of deep states of profound meditation and really had to kind of go inward for a little bit to kind of create a greater sense of myself and space and have the best understanding of what we're all sort of navigating through, because it feels very chaotic and very confusing. And then it's about monitoring or being really mindful of what we're digesting physically in terms of what we're ingesting in terms of food, but also content wise. There's so many different realities that are playing out. So it's really about like being clear in what yours is and what your path is, and not allowing your energy just to disperse too far and too broadly, because we're coming down to the wire now. And it feels like, I was talking about as we move into February, moving into this just two timelines kind of intersecting and playing. And that has been quite predominant. It felt very two-toned. And so you can kind of assess based on your own energetic stance in each moment, sort of what timeline you're coexisting in every moment. Um, what else? What else? All right. I think that's all for now. I'll probably give some other energetic updates as we move through March, but right now it's really about tending to the physical body, and asking your body in each moment what it is that it needs. I've been asked to kind of restrict my diet and go back on, very selected and few foods as we move through it, and that's going to help prepare for the energetic template to come online. But I think always listening to your own body and what your own body needs, because we require, vastly different things depending on where we're at. It may be that you need lighter or less food. Other times when we're going through integration phases, it's more dense or heavy foods help support us. So really just tuning into, and especially the colors of the food, I find at the moment is a real highlighted thing. So greens, oranges, yellows, because I think a lot of what we're sort of processing, or what I've seen throughout sessions, is that a lot of the clearing is happening in the lower level chakras. So solar plexus, sacral, root stuff really coming really pronounced and really highlighted. So real physical aspects connected into our physical world, and um, a lot of processing and digesting and trying to clear out that passageway, because that's where we access that new Illuminous light body. I feel like that's kind of where it's sitting, right in that place. So daily clearings have been almost a necessary part. I've also noticed there has been a level of interference energy that sort of floats in and out incrementally on, almost every second day. And I find that really interesting, because when those energies are really active and at play in the field, there is, because we're on some sort of mass jump point, quantum leap point, or convergence point. So there's like a little sort of backlash, back and forth ping ponging energy that can be really quite pronounced and highlighted. There was something else that was just coming into my mind. I'd love to hear in the comment section what you are feeling into, what you're experiencing. I keep coming back to this explosion of March, and I do feel like there is a level of something quite dynamic happening within the collective this month, or a kickoff point starting. I don't know or understand the nature of it, but it has a very similar energy to the beginning of COVID. Now, I don't believe that it's that same narrative going to play out, but I do think it's impactful on a global level. Um, yeah, I'm just going to take a moment just to feel into that for a second. Something that is going to impact each person by some sort of catalytic experience that is a shared collective experience. And I keep seeing that explosion energy. I feel like once the dust settles, I think initially it's going to set off or send a lot of people into trigger, turmoil, disbelief, um, cognitive dissonance. But ultimately, it's about the expression of a higher truth coming into existence and into light. It feels like there's a bottom echelon or layer of the collective that haven't perhaps pushed through into a new layer of collective of sorry of their own higher consciousness, and it feels like this experience will be the catalyst for that, that pushes us all up into the next layer of our own experience. Whew. And I don't think necessarily at this point details are meant to be fully known, but it has that feeling, that underlying feeling of something that is deeply brewing, that I think essentially is going to help bring in a lot of liberation energy, a lot of freedom energy, a lot of exposure, a lot of, I think, potentially relief for some who are in the know. Because finally, I think big chunks or big pieces of the puzzle will be visibly known. It is how I'm feeling about that. So it is about really being unshakable in that, or being strong for loved ones and family members to help navigate through that. And I really get the sense that the kickoff point will be somewhere around mid-March. So pay attention, allow yourself, give yourself the space to move through some of the seas of the energetic overwhelm, which I think has been very much at play. Okay. Hmm. Just feeling in to see if there's anything else. A lot of, yeah, okay. So when I feel into that, there's a lot of layers of threads that are unraveling. Hmm. Okay, that's interesting message. Really quite. I feel like been a really big portion of us who have forged the way for many years that have been still tethered or linked or connected into, let's say, the collective consciousness or unconsciousness field, that has hindered, I don't want to say the word hindered, but has linked us back into lower states of consciousness. So it's like getting your footing in to propel up, but there's like a cord or a threshold point that hasn't been able to be fully severed. And this, I feel, is a big part of the splitting of realities. That feels like being released or relinquished throughout this month too. So any sort of collective duties or obligations, whether it's geographical locations, or specific themes or templates, I feel like there is a huge release point of that. Um, and being able to move into a more individuated, let's say, pathway, that's less tethered to obligation and more inspiration and positive intent. So that's what I sort of see forging forward. How that is going to, who knows? I'm very curious to see. But one of the things that keeps coming through is like being proactively present and conscious in each moment and pulling back energies and aspects and consolidate it here and now and not to project forward, because I feel like where we are standing now here at the beginning of March and where we will be by the end of it is going to be a whole different trajectory point. And we'll be operating at a much vast level of consciousness than what we are playing at now. So, whatever we project in our consciousness into future timelines, I don't think can be perceived in terms of where our path is heading and the direction of where we're being led. So, it's about reserving our own energy and being present in each moment and spending that time listening, paying attention, receiving, sitting in stillness, resetting our body, resetting our nervous system, and allowing things to come to us and play out. Because I think once we get to that point, or those points as we move into the later part of the month, the dust settles and things become apparently clear. So that's sort of my take on it at this point. Obviously, we've got a lot to move through, but it is a very impactful, powerful, activative month that we're stepping into. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see what I'm going to move into. So when I sat down to do the artwork for this month, nothing came through. I attempted multiple times, and even the things that were coming through just weren't in resonance. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel in flow. It felt really forced, and I don't like to do that. So I was guided to go back, and I kept seeing the image of this artwork, which I think I've used. I think about May last year, which is interesting because I feel like we're at a continuation point of there was definitely a huge timeline shift that I felt happen at the end of May of 2024, which was like a shutdown point in preparation. And I feel like we're coming into a continuation and picking back into that higher trajectory of where we left off, back in May, which is quite exciting because I think we're moving into unprecedented times. So being alert, aware, and being able to navigate through moment to moment is crucial as we move through this. So let's jump into the intuitive insights and see what comes through. There's always a method in the madness. I was wondering why I was being called. I'd have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure this was these were from last, feels like May. Could be June. I'll have to check. But anyway, let's dive into it. So this will be artwork A if you have chosen this one. Let's Let's see what wants to come through. Oh, okay. First of all, it's like a deep exhale. It's like letting out stress, tension, nervousness, jittery energy, overstimulation. There's a lot happening in the mental space right now, or has been, and it's like guidance of being able to breathe that out and work with what is actually filtering and coming in, because there's a lot of light rotation coming in signs or symbols. Um, very sort of powerful and impactful, but it's not going to easily come through until you've processed what has been ruminating in terms of the over mental stimulation, because it feels like, to me it feels like the energy of trying to overwork or trying to work out, trying to reconcile, overworking the mind. But this passageway is to be felt and to pay attention to what is trying to come through, because it feels like all the answers of all the questions that you've had are right there on your doorstep or right in the periphery of your field. So it needs space to allow that to come through in your dreams. But yeah, pay attention to the dream space, because it feels like that's a really effective way for that to start to come through. Mm. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we have the three of wands, we've got the seven of wands, and we've got the six of cups in reverse so far that have come out. Okay, so the first card, the three of wands, the dreams of change. So you've got these three women holding these wands. This, when I feel into the energy of this card, it feels like forceful change, or trying to force a situation or an outcome, or force something is kind of like an uphill battle, like wanting seismic change, wanting to co-create, wanting to create something new. But it feels like there's been these sort of blockage points that haven't allowed you to kind of move beyond that threshold to be able to actually feel or see or witness noticeable change within your own reality. And so I want to come back to this, even though it's in reverse, the Six of Cups is the reflection card. So I feel like there is potentially underneath the surface, there is these um, hidden depths of emotion within the psyche, things that haven't, I see them as pillars. There's like three pillars that stand in and around, and they have an energy or essence of water, and it feels like stagnant water, energy of emotions, raw emotions that have been kind of put the lid on and been pushed away or pushed to the side, that haven't, I don't want to say haven't been dealt with, but haven't been fully recognized or acknowledged. And it almost feels to me, I get the image of three versions of yourself, past, present, future, kind of spinning, or wheels spinning. So there's an aspect of you from the past, present, and future that's kind of wanting to coincide and merge and come together and work together. But at the moment, it feels like they're at odds. You know, one wants to go in this direction, the other one's kind of being pulled back. And it's like the middle part or the present part of you just kind of feels like it's spinning. So I almost feel like timeline therapy in three key points of your life. Um, Outdated belief systems that have come in around childhood, and I get around the age 5 to 7. So really reconnecting with the childhood or lost innocent aspect of yourself. It feels like that is a critical component to bring back some of the joy and the playfulness and the I feel like there's a lot of hidden skills sets and abilities because I see an image of a child sort of out in a garden playing and being able to communicate and connect with almost like the fae and the fairy realms and the elemental. It's like the reconnection with nature, but also the reconnection of your playful side of knowing that anything and everything is possible. So it feels like bringing or consolidating or integrating and that childlike aspect, that wonder, because I think that's going to be vital and necessary for this new future version of yourself to move forward in. Um, yeah, because it feels like your energy is quite dispersed, like back and forward. It's not here in the present. And this can just be a part of the phase that you're kind of moving through. And so being able to write stories or write just processing information, processing emotions or writing to the inner child, I think would be really valuable at this time or key or critical to allow information to come through. Because I want to get to that aspect that I was feeling into. There's a lot of signs and symbols of the answers that want to come. They're just on the periphery of the field. It's like everything you've been searching or seeking is just there in the threshold, like just there in the periphery, but it's like you can't pierce that veil quite yet because there's bits that you need to pull in that's going to allow you to almost expand into that. And it's interesting because it's a very fine threshold. It feels like just being on the periphery right there. And it's like as you kind of burst into that, it almost, it's like a flipping or rotation because I see it in um, like binary sequence code. So being able to hack out of one level of sort of matrix coding or breaking out of the cycle or looping and being able to move into a new heightened or expanded awareness state of being. I feel like, yeah, okay. Hmm. Sorry, I'm just taking a pause because I'm like really taking in that visual, going through like a real charging and energy. I can feel the intensity of the vibration in my body with this card. It's like huge level activations, and there's gold in the reconciliation aspect. And it may be just calling those aspects back. It may not have to do with deep, heavy excavation, but there's missing key components that need to come in into play. And then things aren't going to feel like they're being blocked or almost immovable objects that you can't sort of pierce beyond. And it feels like flipping almost like day and night, working outside the parameters of this. I almost want to say the words this construct, even. So pay attention to your dreams. There's a lot of key and vital information that wants to flood to you as I feel it's the most effective way for it to connect. And it's almost giving you this opportunity to move beyond some of the self-imposed imprisonment. There's almost this silence and peace. Like you can hear a pin drop right now. Just waiting for that exhale and breath. I feel like whatever it is, it's like working with breath work or your body. The breath is so important for you this month to help clear out some of that chaotic energy, the confusion energy, and really reset. It's an opportunity for a full reset that I feel like you're embarking on and meeting, give. So it's like taking or bringing back a past version of yourself into the present moment that's going to really allow you to propel and gain access into that future version. And then everything sort of opens up and clears. Oh, yeah, opens up. Hmm, how interesting. I'm going to pull another book. Come out. We've got time and connection. Mm. Lots of blue and orange, little bits yellow, but blue seems to really stand out. So the verbal expression and communication feels like it's really important. Feels like with that time card, it's like being temporarily held in a timeless space. So the distortion or the not distortion, the dilation of time may feel very warped, almost like a real trippy experience of time being shown or exposed to you as it's not previously been laid out in a linear fashion. It feels like there's quite a few significant jumps or timeline jumps in and around March, and feel like you're sort of like this time traveler, just sort of going back and forth. But it feels like it's collecting vital pieces of information, collecting the necessary tools to send you on your way. And there's like this voyage energy. I see like a sail ship being like going on a voyage or going on an exploration. I feel like it's probably or potentially more an exploration of your own consciousness and accessing higher consciousness because it feels like there's a higher element or aspect of your soul self or a guide that wants to drop through and start to commune with you, to give you the instruction map, to give you layers of your blueprint so that you can see and have a better grasp of the true purpose of this incarnation. It feels really monumentally huge. So we've got the connection card as well. So the frequency of connection supports the ability to find alignment, resonance with others, things, and ideas. It's so funny when I look at that card, I instantly feel the three. There's a lot of three, and interesting, we've got 41 and 14, so 4114. Soul group energy, reconnective and hit something on the head there, reconnective energies. Yeah, it feels like it's giving you the opportunity to realign to soul group members because I get this vision of there's people reaching out or trying to connect to you, but it hasn't been able to be fully established. So you may have a longing or a yearning to be ignited or reignited, connected, have meaningful conversations. And I feel like that's really going to start to take shape in and around March for you. So new people coming in, that are going to have a level of support or a same level of shared experiences, going to help you kind of on this new pathway and trajectory of what's opening up. There may be some unexpected trips or traveling as well. The intimacy card, number 26. The energy of intimacy supports us trust that we are safe and allow closeness. So it feels like very close bonds and connections being formed. Giving yourself permission to allow that because it feels like there may have been a period of time where you shut off or haven't felt safe in being raw, honest, open, vulnerable. So that's just really allowing and opening that space, which I feel is going to be incredibly supportive to you. Let's grab a couple more cards. Yeah. Oh, the real you. Okay. Mm. And the confusion card, the real you on top. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Favorite cards. So underneath we've got the confusion card. So yeah, confusion, chaotic. Going back to that initial energy, it feels like large displacement of your own energy and consciousness. It's kind of here, there, and everywhere, and it feels like that really wants to come back online and come back into consolidation. And so the real you is wanting to emerge. It's wanting to be reconnected to you, reestablished, be at the forefront of who you truly are. So you may feel like you've lost yourself, lost that spark, lost the connection to your purpose or passion or the divine, the inspiration. But it feels like that's what's yearning to drop back in. So it's giving yourself that space to clear out that chaotic confusion energy, especially working with the breath. And the real you in that card talks about like being childlike again. You know, what do children do? They express themselves without having any inhibitions. And so that, that way of being able to write or draw or sing or dance and not really caring what other people, opinions are. So coming back into that light-hearted, more playful energy. And then we have the messenger, which is through all this experience coming into a greater sense of awareness and purpose that you have a message to share. And that message talks about sharing in vast or great numbers, sharing messages abroad, overseas, broadcasting, being able to establish a firm sense of self and being able to be that beacon that is going to help ignite and inspire and enliven other people. So big month ahead, absolutely huge and potent energies. I hope that helps support or give a sense of clarity of what you may be moving through at this particular moment in time. And of course, if you'd like to join the journey that we've got moving through the eclipse season or have a personal session, all the details will be in the description box below. And I look forward to connecting with you. So thank you. Whew. All right, let's move along now into B. So this one here, if you've chosen or selected this card for the month, hmm, hmm. Straight off the bat, I feel with this one, there's a strong sense of purification, safety, security, being able to relax. Oh, interesting. Being able to relax. Yeah, being able to relax, giving yourself a pat on the back, being able to acknowledge what you have accomplished, and moving into a new pattern or stream of thought. It feels like you have just overcome a lot of challenges and a lot of obstacles. And so it's really acknowledging how far you've come and the place that you've stepped into. It feels like potentially even overcoming physical difficulties, illness, or just a breakdown in the body, and coming into finding remedies and solutions or modalities that have really helped support transform your life. So it's really creating and cultivating a new space of your own experience and existence. And it feels like almost taking a little bit of time to relish in congratulating yourself in the hard work that you've put in and where how it's about to pay off, because it feels like there's a big payoff coming in for you. um it could be monetary wise, but it could be through opportunity, and just, yeah, it feels like even like I see opportunities within contracts or like book, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, someone to help represent taking your work to the next level. Something that, yeah, something that you've been working hard on. And oh goodness, look, there's a whole heap of new beginnings here. We've got the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Coins. Wow, it feels very fresh and revitalizing, a lot of new. So you've been moving through this Five of Swords, the problems, the challenges, overcoming them one by one. It just feels that there has been this level of mental and physical exhaustion that you've been going through, trying to overcome and kind of catch your breath and move through, what's been thrown at you time after time. But it's like you've entered a clearing space now that's giving you this sense of like, wow, I did it. I reached the top of the pinnacle of the mountain. And things are, oh goodness me, this is huge energy. It feels like blessings or bestowed blessings just kind of falling in your lap, or being given very rare and unique uh, opportunities as a real shift or a turning point for you. It feels like there's more than one, and it feels like they sort of come out of the unknown. Like, it's not places that you would think. And so it feels like this is what you've been working so hard and diligently for. So we've got new career moves and new love energy coming through. Two aces. So big changes. We also have the two of cups as well. So a loving union and teamwork, or teaming up, building, coming into connection, unifying. It could be your masculine and feminine balance within you, but it's really opening up this huge expansive state. And it feels a lot because of the level of foundation that you've built of this safety and security in your body, in your environment, and the good deeds, and the oh, how beautiful, very potent energy. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. um yeah, the good work that you have done has not gone unnoticed, and that this is a time of stepping into receiving rewards, recognition, um and that's really going to help boost your level of notability, or recognition, whether that be in your local community or in the work that you do. But there's this kind of real level up, changing gears. We've got the Fool card, so yeah, beginning, taking new chances and opportunities, jumping off the ledge, stepping into the vast unknown, but with determination and drive and resilience. And then we have the Emperor, so the masculine influence. And I feel like that's you just holding and owning your own personal power, It's really powerful energy coming through for you this month, and changing up your whole trajectory. This feels like a key or critical point on the timeline that is inevitable. Like it's can't find the right word. It doesn't matter where you are, what circumstances or situations you find yourself in. It feels like this is a key breakthrough period and monumental moment for you. Brings through, yeah, a lot of abundance. It brings, I'm just like looking through a lot of new revitalized love energy and deeper levels of connection. Powerful, it's potent, it is almost beyond articulation. It's something that has to be felt, not intellectualized. Key breakthrough month. Let's see. Freedom. Beautiful. Surrender and transformation. Okay. So, yeah, that feeling of breaking through the glass ceiling, stepping out into unlimited potential and opportunity and bold exploration. When I look at that, I almost see the symbol of the dragonfly energy in that. So, yeah, breaking through and finding a sense of expansion, freedom, personal breakthroughs. Mm. So we have surrender and transformation. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, and it almost feels like that's what leads to the freedom card. I almost want to read them in reverse because it feels like the ultimate trust, surrender, going through the inner transformation, preparing the outer world, laying that foundation and landscape has required you to go into deep pockets and spaces of surrender, not knowing, not fully understanding, not um, knowing why things, get taken away, why things fall in that trajectory. Like it just feels like whatever you've been working through over the several months or even years, perhaps feels like it all kind of comes together and falls into place and it makes sense. And that is part of what ultimately gives you that expression of freedom. But it feels very base chakra. I'm just looking at the bottom of the deck. Um, it feels a lot in the body, physical transformation, um, and safe to be yourself ultimately. Um, feeling really supported. It could be from loved ones, but yeah, it just feels like there is a community. Um, yeah, there's a group or a community that's holding a safe and sacred space around you to give you this boost to really propel you into this next stage, next phase of your life. Okay. It feels like the end of a lot of karmic cords or ties or situations that have probably served you well, but not felt great while going through it. I just keep seeing that opportunity to write a story, write a book, a playwright. Yeah, it's like writing and being given an opportunity for that to express to a greater audience, something in the pipeline coming through of that nature. Interesting. Sounds exciting. Ah, twice. Okay. Oh, I want to put them back. We've got the Prophet card and the Judgment card. They have a similar look to them. Yeah. Feeling into. Hmm. When I look in or I feel into these cards, it feels like there's a new burst of light and expansion, self-renewal energy that is becoming a part of your daily makeup, a part of this new experience, something that really sparks in the eternal aspect or part of yourself to give voice, to speak to what you know, what you understand. And it's being able to let go of previous or past judgments of yourself, or potentially the fear of being judged by others or harsh punishments. It's like when we talk about the witch wound and being persecuted for sharing higher concepts of knowledge and wisdom, it feels like breaking through and letting go of some of that that allows you to really step into um, a renewed sense of self. Yeah, it's giving up the ridicule, the shame, being judged by others or judging yourself too harshly. And it feels like that's a part of what has been or allowing you to overcome the prophet, the speaker, being able to see into future visions, be able to share that clearly and concisely. It may be part of what you're writing, perhaps. Because I see, and this might not be for everyone, but I see writing like inserts of like wisdom or visions. If we get one more card. Ah, the messenger card again. Hmm. So being the messenger, being the broadcaster, being the one to speak. And it almost feels like the power in the speech, the power in the talking, commanding through your voice or speaking out loud and bringing that into reality and being able to share a message far and wide. And that feels like a big part of the path or where you're being asked or where you're being led through this time. So it sounds pretty incredible. I hope that helps. I hope that resonates and supports you. If you'd like to join some of the group activities that will be held throughout the month of March, I would love to see you. All the details will be in the description box. Or even if you just want to book a personalized session, everything will be in the description box. And I look forward to connecting with you. All right, lucky last. Let's go into C, shall we? So this one here, this is the one that you've chosen. Oh, there's a real softness in this energy, in this, oh, almost, yeah, real softness, real gentleness, real flow energy, very feminine, very sacred energy, feminine, being able to work with the power of the creational force or life force energy within yourself for this month, being um, being guided by a higher force or higher light. There's power. I almost feel like there's beings that wish to connect with you, most likely the higher self, or it might be a counterpart energy. Um, but it feels something that's in non-physical form. So, yeah, something that's in non-physical form, or someone who's in non-physical could be a past loved one. It may be someone that you haven't necessarily connected with before that has a big bearing or influence on your path and trajectory. Someone like a guide feels potentially masculine energy. Someone that's going to help guide you and give you high perspective, valuable insights, showing you where to go, where to look. Someone that can help you work or with alchemy. Yeah, it's a real powerful influence there. So make sure that you're allowing space for that uh, connection to come into play. Even, make sure you can document it or write it down, because it may be in those very profound moments where, oh, wow, okay. Oof. Mm. And maybe in those moments where very profound things start to come through, and then when you sort of snap out and come back into your day-to-day experience, you may forget. I feel like it's very important to be able to document whatever's coming through. But it really feels like a strong and powerful guidance energy that is in non-physical, at least for this time. So the first card, or the card at the bottom of the deck, is the Hermit card. So you may have felt quite isolated or vulnerable or sensitive, and you felt the need to go within and just really sit with yourself, be with yourself, nurture self care, love. But there's an open window of opportunity or unforeseen events that is going to play out throughout the month of May. And it's going to be able to, if you choose to, take you down a new path or trajectory. And this feels like it's in relation to this connection or higher connection. But there's unforeseen wildcard energy or opportunities that haven't yet been laid out or presented, but they are there. They're in the field, they're in the potentiality. So it's about taking or being led or being able to dialogue with this strong masculine energy component. As I was mentioning, it feels non-physical, but it may be something that's non-physical then shows up in the physical. But I think this is a powerful energy. It's like, if you're sitting in meditation, you'll feel a whole shift in the vibration of the energy in the room when this being steps in and wants to communicate with you. And it feels like very loud transmissions of telepathic direct dialogue that wants to open up. And it's going to help allow you see things in a much crisp and clear vantage point. So going back to what I was talking about, we've got the Empress. So we've got Emperor and the Empress. So we've got fertility and sensuality. But it feels like it's a very ripe and fertile time to bring things into creation and manifestation. We also have the Three of Cups, which is about celebration, about bringing people together. Interesting. We've got the sensuality card here again. That soft, gentle, nurturing aspect and element. It feels like a time with the celebration card, it feels like a time of coming together, people, friendships coming together, events, stepping outside of your comfort zone, especially if you have been in hermit mode energy. Very divinely orchestrated events of connections or people coming together or meeting people in unlikely places that are going to be crucial to whatever phases or stages are happening next, or whatever path or crusade is opening up for you. Feels like time is of the essence and element this month, so things have to sort of play out in a rapid pace or in a very strategic or specific way things, one thing has to be laid down before the next can come into play and effect. But yeah, March for this reading feels like a very wild card. Like anything can happen in any moment. Not being on high alert because it doesn't feel like it's bad. It feels like it's positive, unexpected windfall changes, unexpected news that is warmly welcomed. Mm, yeah. The level of commitment and perseverance and your ability to go through phases of deep surrender to find the clarity comes through. So it almost feels like whatever's coming through for you shows the perseverance and commitment that you've laid down. Your ability to let go of control and be in that flow and surrender shows that level of commitment of being not being taken off the path, the commitment to yourself and the higher calling. Mm, duality. Rising above duality feels to me the yin and the yang and the friction and the balancing act of the two within you that creates this sort of ripened potential for opportunity and in internal activation. It feels like a real heart expansion energy. So it's like if you feel that there are blockages still within the heart space, right now is the greatest time for you to clear that because that's going to really amplify that connection to the unseen and allow that, that dialoguing to be at its most potent. And it could just be the higher aspect of yourself. We've got number 37, the soul. The energy of soul activates our connection to the part of us that is closer to the higher realms, God and the divine. I think for some, this is really about activating the spiritual or psychic nature of your gifts and abilities too, and taking that into a new state or a new level. Secrets are revealed or things coming to light, truth, being in co-creation, acceptance, and mythical realities. This feels like past energy being pulled down or being connected to the collective unconsciousness, feeling very this card talks about like looking around at the world at large and feeling like it's a really dull and depressing place and kind of sinking into pockets of depression or disillusionment and being able to use that as catalytic energy to rise above it, to not just looking at it and feeling powerless but really taking and reclaiming your power back. And how can you work with whatever it is that you're ultimately very purposefully passionate about to make or be a creator of change. The acceptance card, this feels like accepting, how do I say this? Accepting a new level or layer to your path that perhaps you didn't foresee or you didn't think was part of your purpose in this lifetime, but almost being handed the keys or information and being given something that you just can't turn away from. You have to explore it deeper. You have to do something with it. Yeah, because I see a lot of paperwork and keys being put, like two very specific gold keys being put on top of paperwork. So being given like reams of information, and that can be in downloads, being able to access contracts, um, being able to read your own soul contract, and being given greater insight into what that actually means and how to translate that and how to play it out. And then we've got the co-creation card. So that card talks about being given an opportunity that feels that it's outside of your range of expertise or even your financial capabilities at that time. But it's really about saying, no, 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 like this is being given to you as a gift. And even though it may feel out of your depth and out of your range, it's actually, yeah, it's perfect. And it's like, can be collaborative. It can be, it's funny, the word restorative comes, um, but it feels like there's a whole new, like a foundation or an organization, or there's something really that you can sink your teeth into that I don't think you foresaw coming. For the messenger card again. This has come through in every single reading. So everyone, there is this level of broadcasting truth, speaking your truth, being able to be a conveyor and broadcaster of information to shed light on new perspectives, new insights. It feels like a whole, like, flow of information and energy that wants to just be, yeah, move through you, through your artistic expression, even to, yeah, to be this change maker, this real catalyst of change, to really shift the dynamic and the narrative of what has been and taking it into a new octave. So I hope that helps. I hope that that resonates for you. Sounds like really potent, powerful month up ahead. If you'd like to join some of the activities throughout March or connect with me for an individualized personal session, I would love to connect with you. All the details will be in the description box below. And until next time, I'm just sending so much love and look forward to connecting with you all soon. All right. Bye bye.